Leora pushed open the door of the small cafe, the soft chime ringing above her head. The smell of fresh bread and warm coffee filled the air. She smiled to herself, enjoying the quiet sounds of clinking cups and low murmurs of conversation. Even though she could not see, she knew this place well. Every table, every chair, every corner of the cafe was familiar to her. She walked carefully, using her cane to guide her, feeling the smooth floor under her shoes. She found her usual spot by the window. The sunlight touched her face, warming her skin, though she could not see the view outside. She liked it here because she could hear people and imagine the world around her. It felt safe and calm. Today, though, something felt different, though she could not tell why. A quiet voice spoke nearby. "May I sit here?" Leora turned her head, sensing the presence of someone she did not know. "Yes, you can," she replied, her voice calm. He was not like the other people in the cafe. Leora could feel it immediately. His steps were light and careful, but there was something strong in the way he carried himself. He had a strange quietness that made him stand out. Leora smiled, letting him sit. She could tell he was tall. His voice was soft but had a weight that made her heart beat a little faster. "I'm Kalen," he said. "I'm Leora," she answered. She often introduced herself, even though most people did not care to talk. But something about him made her want to speak. They started small. Leora told him about her day, about the streets she had walked and the people she had met. Kalen listened, not interrupting. His silence was not cold, it felt calm, thoughtful, like he was holding back a storm. "You seem very brave," he said quietly at one point. Leora laughed softly. "I do what I must. Bravery is just thinking fast when you have no choice." Kalen tilted his head slightly. "That is very human of you," he said. His words were strange. Leora had heard people speak about humans in the past, some with fear, some with admiration. But no one had ever called her very human before. She felt a small warmth in her chest, though she did not know why. The cafe felt different as they talked. The clinking cups and soft music faded into the background. Leora felt as if the room was only theirs. She told him small things, things she would not share with others, the way she liked the sound of rain, the way she could feel the sunlight on her face, how she imagined the world by listening. Kalen listened with patience. He did not judge. He did not rush. Leora realized she had not felt this calm with anyone in a long time. "You know a lot for someone who cannot see," Kalen said softly. Leora smiled, letting out a small laugh. "I see in ways you cannot imagine," she said. It was true. She noticed details with her other senses that others missed. The soft rustle of the curtains, the faint scent of someone's perfume, the rhythm of people's steps. She felt the world in ways others could not. Kalen leaned back, silent for a moment. Leora sensed that he was thinking, studying her, but in a gentle way. She felt curious. Who was this man? Why did he feel so different? His presence was quiet but strong, and she did not feel afraid. The cafe owner came by with a cup of tea for her. Leora thanked him, smiling at the warmth in the cup. Kalen watched her with a small, unreadable expression. Leora sensed that he had seen something in her actions, something ordinary but brave. For a long time, they spoke. Leora told him about her favorite books, her small adventures in the city, the kindness of strangers. Kalen told her about distant places, though never revealing too much. She could hear the subtle pride in his voice when he spoke of places she could never imagine. She wondered why he seemed sad at times, though he never said anything. "I like talking to you," Leora said finally. "You are different from everyone else." Kalen's lips curved slightly into a small smile. "And you are not afraid of the world, even when you cannot see it. That is rare." Leora laughed. "I do not have a choice. Life does not wait for you to be ready. You face it anyway." For the first time, Kalen felt something stir inside him that he had not felt in centuries: admiration. Not for power, or for technology, or for his empire. But for a human being. A small, fragile human being with courage that could not be measured by strength or skill. The cafe continued its quiet hum around them, but Leora did not notice. She only noticed the voice next to her, the calm presence that somehow felt safe. She felt a strange connection, a trust that she had never given so quickly to anyone. Kalen remained silent for a moment, listening to her laugh, her soft voice, the way she noticed the world without seeing it. He had met many beings in the galaxy, but none like this. None who could shake him so quietly with nothing but courage. As the sun began to dip, casting long shadows across the cafe floor, Leora and Kalen remained there, speaking in soft tones. The outside world was busy and loud, but in this little corner of the galaxy, time felt still. Something had begun, though neither of them knew it yet. Something small, quiet, but powerful. A blind human girl and a hidden alien, sitting together in a cafe, unaware that the simple act of trust and courage would soon shake the foundations of an entire galaxy. Leora returned to the cafe the next morning, her cane tapping softly on the floor. The smell of warm bread and coffee greeted her like an old friend. She smiled, moving carefully to her usual spot. Today, she wondered if Kalen would be there. The thought made her heart beat a little faster. As she settled in, she heard the soft click of the door opening. He was there. Kalen's presence filled the space before his voice even reached her ears. "Good morning, Leora," he said quietly. "Good morning," she replied, smiling even though he could not see it. "I wondered if you would come today." Kalen chuckled softly. "I did. I enjoy our talks." They began their small routine. Leora described the world around her in detail, telling him about the noises of the street, the soft chatter of people, the distant hum of spaceships landing at the port. Kalen listened intently, sometimes asking questions that made her pause and think. He wanted to understand her, not just hear her. "You notice everything," he said at one point. "Even small things most people miss." Leora shrugged. "When you cannot see, you must notice other things. The world does not stop, even if you cannot see it. You learn to feel it." Kalen nodded. There was a quiet respect in his voice. "Humans are remarkable," he said. "Even small ones, like you, can be stronger than worlds." Leora felt a warmth in her chest. She had heard humans praised before, but never like this. There was no fear in his words, only admiration. She wanted to ask him why he said that, but instead, she laughed softly and told him about her adventures in the city. She spoke about small acts of courage, helping an elderly woman across a busy street, calming a frightened child lost in the market, stopping a thief who tried to steal a vendor's basket. Kalen listened quietly, his hands folded on the table. When she finished, he said nothing at first, only observing. "You have a brave heart," he finally said. "I can see it in your actions, even without seeing your face." Leora smiled. Bravery is not always about fighting. Sometimes it is about doing the right thing when no one else will. Kalen's eyes, though careful and unreadable, seemed to study her in a new way. She did not notice it, but he was fascinated. So much of his life had been about power, fear, and control. But here, with this small human girl, he was learning about courage in a different way, pure, uncalculated, and honest. Over the next few days, they met regularly. Leora would tell stories, Kalen would listen, occasionally sharing tales of distant worlds. He spoke of planets covered in oceans, cities floating in the sky, creatures that could shift shapes in an instant. Leora could not see these places, but she imagined them in her mind. "You have a way of making the impossible seem real," she said once. Kalen's lips curved into a small smile. "And you have a way of making the ordinary seem extraordinary," he replied. One day, while she described a street performance she had watched, a loud crash came from the cafe door. A group of rough-looking aliens burst in, demanding attention. Patrons shrank back in fear. Leora froze, her heart racing, but she did not panic. Kalen's presence was calm and steady beside her. "Stay calm," he whispered. The aliens shouted, waving strange weapons. Leora could hear the fear in their voices, but she focused on the rhythm of their steps, the direction of their movements. She realized the situation could be solved without violence. Using her voice and clear commands, she guided a small group of frightened patrons toward the back door, keeping them safe. Kalen watched her, quietly impressed. She had no fear, no hesitation. Her courage was natural, instinctive. After the last patron was safe, he quietly stepped forward, and the aliens fled. They had no idea who he truly was, but Leora's bravery had already changed the situation. "You are incredible," Kalen said once the door closed. "I just did what needed to be done," Leora said, her voice calm. "It is not bravery if it is easy. It is bravery when you act anyway, even when you are afraid." Kalen was silent for a moment, letting her words sink in. He had spent centuries commanding empires, but he had never seen courage like this. It was not about strength or weapons. It was about the heart, the mind, and the will to act when others would flee. Days turned into weeks. Their friendship grew quietly. Leora began to notice subtle things about Kalen, the way he reacted to danger, the care in his voice, the deep curiosity about humans. She asked questions, trying to learn more about him, but he always answered vaguely. "You are hiding something," she said one day, smiling. Kalen's lips twitched, almost like a smile. "Perhaps. But some things are better discovered slowly." Leora laughed softly. "I like discovering things." They sat together, talking and laughing, sharing stories of the world and beyond. The cafe became their small universe, a place where trust and courage grew. Leora did not know it yet, but Kalen's admiration for her was growing stronger every day. Her fearlessness, her curiosity, and her kindness were slowly opening a door in him that had been closed for centuries. For Kalen, the quiet human girl had begun to change something inside him, something that no empire, no power, and no weapon ever could. And for Leora, the quiet alien beside her was becoming someone she trusted completely, even if she did not know why. In the simple cafe, among ordinary people and ordinary objects, something extraordinary had begun. A human girl's courage had started to touch the heart of an alien emperor, even though neither of them fully understood it yet. The next day, Leora returned to the cafe as usual, tapping her cane along the familiar floor. She felt the warm sunlight on her face and inhaled the comforting smell of coffee and baked bread. But something felt different. The air was heavier, quieter, as if the world was holding its breath. Kalen was already there, sitting in their usual spot. His presence was calm, but Leora sensed tension in him today. "Good morning," she said, smiling. Kalen nodded. "Good morning, Leora. We need to talk." She tilted her head, curious. "About what?" "There is danger nearby," he said quietly. "Something you may not notice, but I can." Leora frowned. "Danger? Here?" She had always felt safe in this cafe, but now her heart beat faster. Kalen leaned closer. "I cannot explain everything yet. But some beings are looking for something you carry, something important. You do not even know it yourself." Leora's mind raced. She did not understand. "I don't carry anything except my cane and my backpack." Kalen shook his head. "Not with your hands. With your mind. Your courage. The humans who live with bravery sometimes unknowingly carry power that others fear." Leora blinked, unsure what he meant. "Power? Me?" "Yes," Kalen said. "Some want to capture you because they fear what humans can do, even when they seem small and ordinary. You are far from ordinary, Leora." A loud crash interrupted them. The cafe door banged open, and several strange alien figures stormed inside, shouting commands in harsh, unfamiliar tones. Patrons gasped and froze, fear spreading like fire. Leora's heart pounded, but she did not move away. She listened carefully, noting the footsteps, the direction of their movements, and the weapons they carried. Kalen's hand rested lightly on hers, guiding her without pulling her back. "Stay calm," he whispered. She took a deep breath. She could not see the danger, but she could feel it. The rhythm of footsteps, the voices, the shifts in the air, it all painted a picture in her mind. She understood where the aliens were, and she could help others escape. "Everyone stay behind me," she called, her voice steady. Her tone gave confidence. Even though she could not see, her words directed the frightened patrons. "Move slowly toward the back exit. Follow my voice." Kalen observed quietly as Leora guided people, his admiration growing. Her courage was not loud or violent. It was quiet, intelligent, and deliberate. She was using her mind and heart to protect others, something no weapon could replace. The aliens shouted, waving strange weapons, but Leora did not panic. She listened and adapted, leading everyone safely toward the back door. Each step she guided them with precision. Some stumbled, but her voice reassured them. When the last person reached safety, she turned back. Kalen had already moved. In one smooth motion, he stood in front of her, his presence alone enough to make the intruders hesitate. He did not attack, did not shout, he simply made them understand they could not win. The aliens glanced at each other nervously, then fled, retreating into the streets outside. Leora's heart still pounded, but she remained calm, sensing Kalen beside her. "You are incredible," Kalen said quietly, once the door had closed. "I just did what needed to be done," Leora replied. Bravery is not about fighting. It is about acting when you have no choice but to act. Kalen studied her, his eyes soft but intense. "I have seen many leaders in the galaxy. Empires rise and fall. Weapons destroy worlds. But I have never seen courage like yours. Not from a ruler. Not from a soldier. From a human." Leora looked at him, curious. "Why me? I'm just a girl." "You are not just a girl," Kalen said firmly. "You are human. Humans are small, fragile, and ordinary, but you also have a spark. Something that can change hearts and minds. Something that can shake even empires." Leora felt a strange warmth in her chest. No one had ever spoken to her like this before, with respect and honesty. She realized that Kalen was not just speaking about her actions today. He was speaking about her courage, her kindness, and her heart. Days passed, and the incident in the cafe became a quiet memory. But Kalen's admiration for Leora grew with each meeting. He began to see the strength of humanity in ways he had never considered. Humans did not need advanced weapons or armies to inspire him, they needed courage, morality, and the will to act when others would not. Leora noticed changes in Kalen too. He was softer, quieter, more thoughtful. Sometimes he would watch her with a small, unreadable smile, as if trying to understand her. She had questions, of course. "Why do you care so much about humans?" she asked one day. Kalen paused. "Because humans can teach even the most powerful beings something important. Even I am learning." Leora nodded slowly. "I hope it is something good." "It is," he replied. "You are teaching me that courage and trust matter more than power. More than fear. More than any weapon I have commanded." For Leora, it was a strange feeling, being seen for who she truly was. And for Kalen, it was a revelation, a lesson in humility and admiration from a small human girl who could not even see the world, yet understood it better than many who ruled it. The cafe became their world of trust, a place where danger could arrive and be met with courage, where hearts were tested, and where humans could show that even the smallest spark could ignite hope across the galaxy. And in that small cafe, a blind human girl's courage began to leave a mark on a hidden alien emperor, a mark that would change both of their lives forever. The cafe was quieter than usual that afternoon. Leora could feel it in the air. Something had shifted. She walked in with her cane tapping lightly on the floor, guiding her to her usual spot. The smell of coffee and bread was comforting, but it could not hide the tension she sensed. Kalen was already there, sitting across from her. He did not smile today. His usual calmness had a hint of seriousness that made Leora sit up a little straighter. "Leora," he said quietly, "there is something I need to tell you. You deserve the truth." Her heart skipped a beat. "The truth about what?" she asked, though a part of her already feared the answer. Kalen leaned closer, his voice almost a whisper. "I am not who you think I am. I am the ruler of an empire. A galaxy far larger than this city, larger than you can imagine. I am the Galactic Emperor." Leora froze. Her mind struggled to process the words. She could not see him, but she felt the weight in his voice. The quiet man she had grown to trust, the one who listened and laughed at her stories, the one who admired her courage, he was not just a stranger. He was one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. You are the Emperor," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Yes," Kalen replied calmly. "I have hidden my identity to see the galaxy through eyes other than my own. To understand humanity better." For a moment, Leora was silent. Her mind raced. She thought of all the stories she had heard about emperors, powerful, unkind, distant. And yet, the man sitting before her had only ever shown patience, respect, and admiration. Could it really be the same person? "I don't understand," she said finally. "Why me? Why tell me this?" Kalen reached out, his hand stopping just above hers. "Because you are brave, Leora. You are honest, fearless, and kind. You face the world even when you cannot see it. You inspire courage not through power, but through your heart. I wanted you to know, because soon, that courage will be needed." Leora's pulse quickened. Needed? For what? Before Kalen could answer, a sudden commotion erupted outside the cafe. The faint hum of energy weapons reached their ears. Someone was attacking, and it was clear they were looking for her. Leora's heart pounded, but she did not panic. She had faced danger before, but this time it was larger, more organized. Kalen stood beside her. "They are after you. They know what humans can do when they act with courage. And they fear it." Leora's voice was steady, though her hands shook slightly. "Then we stop them. Together." Kalen studied her for a long moment. Her bravery was not just instinct, it was deliberate. She did not shrink, she did not plead. She was ready to act. He nodded silently. The door of the cafe burst open, and the alien attackers stormed in. Leora could sense them before they reached her. She listened to their footsteps, the swish of their cloaks, the metallic clink of their weapons. Her mind mapped their positions. "Move back," she commanded softly, guiding the few patrons still inside toward the back. Kalen's presence shielded her without a word. Together, they were a force of calm in the chaos. The attackers lunged forward, but Leora did not retreat. She shouted instructions, directing Kalen and the others. Each move she made was precise, calculated, and full of courage. She could not see, but she understood the battlefield in a way the attackers could not anticipate. Kalen was impressed. He had commanded armies, led fleets, destroyed worlds, but never had he witnessed strategy and bravery so raw, so human, so unmeasured by fear. Leora was small, blind, and yet her courage reshaped the fight. At one point, an attacker lunged toward Leora. Without thinking, she reached out and struck with her cane, knocking the weapon aside. Kalen moved with her, blocking another. They worked together silently, perfectly coordinated, though he had never trained with her. Finally, the attackers hesitated. They realized their target was not just a human, they were facing someone whose courage and wit could not be predicted. Slowly, they retreated, leaving the cafe in quiet silence. Leora stood, her chest heaving, but her eyes, though blind, sparkled with determination. "They won't try that again," she said softly. Kalen knelt beside her. "No. But what you have done today is more than just survival. You have proven that courage can stand against fear and power alike. Even I am amazed." Leora smiled, a little tired, a little proud. "I only did what I had to. Courage is not a choice, it is what we do when we cannot run." Kalen studied her closely. "And that is why you will change more than this city. One day, your courage will shake entire worlds. Perhaps even me." Leora laughed softly, though she did not fully understand the weight of his words. She only knew that she trusted him, that together they could face anything. She did not know that the man beside her, the Galactic Emperor, was learning something new about life, power, and humanity, lessons only a small human girl could teach. The cafe, quiet again, felt like a safe world amidst chaos. And in that moment, Leora realized that courage was not about seeing the enemy or holding power. It was about standing firm, acting wisely, and trusting yourself, even when the universe itself seemed to oppose you. Kalen, watching her, knew that he had underestimated humans all along. And now, he understood that the smallest spark of bravery could light up a galaxy in ways no weapon ever could. In that small cafe, a blind human girl's courage did more than defend her life, it began to change the course of a hidden emperor's understanding of power, trust, and the strength of humanity. The city was quiet that evening. The streets were filled with the low hum of distant engines and the soft chatter of people returning home. Leora walked with her cane, feeling the familiar rhythm of the city beneath her feet. But something felt different. The weight of the past days pressed lightly on her shoulders, not as fear, but as awareness. She knew she had changed, even if she did not fully understand how. She entered the cafe, her favorite corner bathed in soft light. Kalen was already there, sitting silently, his eyes focused on her even though he did not speak. For the first time, she sensed a kind of calm authority in him, one that did not intimidate, but comforted. "Leora," Kalen said quietly, "you have proven something remarkable. Not to me, but to yourself, and to the galaxy." Leora tilted her head. "Proven what?" she asked, curiosity threading her voice. "That courage, even from one human, can change everything," he replied. "You have stood against fear, against those who thought they could control you. And through it, you have taught me something about power, about leadership, about trust." Leora smiled softly. "I only did what I had to. It is not about power. It is about doing what is right." Kalen studied her, his face thoughtful. "Yes. That is why I admire humans. You are fragile, you are small, and yet your hearts are immense. You act when others hesitate. You fight not for glory, but for what is right. And sometimes, that is stronger than any empire, any army, any weapon." For a long moment, they sat in silence. Leora could feel the calm that had returned to the cafe, the sense of safety, but she knew the world outside still held dangers. Kalen had kept his identity hidden, but now, with the threat gone, he could show a piece of himself without fear. "Leora," he said, "I want to show you something. Something you cannot see, but can feel." Before she could respond, he extended his hand, and she took it carefully. Kalen's energy was gentle but powerful, a subtle vibration that spoke of his true strength. Leora felt it in her chest, a warmth that made her heart race. She could sense his presence, not as a stranger, but as someone extraordinary. "You have changed me," Kalen whispered. "I have ruled a galaxy for centuries, but I have never met anyone like you. You reminded me that courage is not about control. It is about heart. And heart can reshape worlds." Leora felt a small shiver of awe. She was just a girl. She had never dreamed that her courage could reach so far, touch someone so powerful. And yet, here he was, speaking with honesty she had never expected. Suddenly, the cafe doors opened. A few people entered, laughing softly, oblivious to the moment unfolding in the corner. Leora felt grounded in the ordinary world, but she also felt the extraordinary. She realized that she had learned something too, that even the smallest acts of bravery could ripple across the universe. Kaelin stood slowly, holding her hand lightly. Leora, there is something I want you to understand. I could hide my power, I could command through fear, I could bend the galaxy to my will. But none of that matters as much as what you have shown me, that courage, trust, and heart are stronger than any throne or weapon. Leora squeezed his hand. Then maybe the world does not need rulers who are feared. Maybe it needs humans who act with courage. Kaelin nodded, a faint smile on his lips. Yes. And humans like you, they inspire even those who think themselves above all. You have reminded me what true leadership is. Not control, but guidance. Not fear, but trust. The cafe felt alive with a new energy. Patrons continued their conversations, unaware that history had shifted quietly in their midst. Leora and Kaelin remained seated, hands touching lightly, connected by something stronger than sight, stronger than fear, stronger than any title, courage and understanding. You have changed the galaxy without even knowing it, Kaelin said softly. And you have changed too, Leora replied, not because I am brave, but because you saw the courage in someone small, someone ordinary, and you let it matter. Kaelin studied her, silent for a long moment. Then he said quietly, perhaps that is what humans are meant to do. Not to conquer or rule, but to teach, to inspire, and to remind even the greatest beings what it means to be alive. Leora laughed softly, the sound bright and warm. Then we are not so small, after all. No, Kaelin agreed. Not small. Powerful, in ways most cannot imagine. And you, Leora, are the spark. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the cafe. Outside, the city continued, unaware of the quiet revolution that had taken place. But inside, a blind human girl and a hidden emperor shared a moment that would echo across the stars. A single human's courage had reshaped the heart of a ruler, and through that, the galaxy itself. And in that quiet cafe, nothing would ever be the same again.